Hey, Steelers fans, today we dive straight into the heart of Pittsburgh, where the latest developments around the Steelers have stirred up plenty of conversation, emotions, and expectations. The hiring of Mike McCarthy has been met with a mix of excitement, skepticism, and curiosity, and it is fascinating to see how this new chapter in the team's history is unfolding. There is an unmistakable feeling that Pittsburgh itself is intertwined with the identity of this franchise, and McCarthy's arrival only brings that connection into sharper focus. From the moment he stepped onto the field in the team colors, it was clear that this is more than just a professional move for him. It is a return home to the city and the organization that has shaped so many lives, fans and players alike. Watching the introductory press conference, there were moments that captured the essence of what it means to lead this team. McCarthy's words were filled with gratitude toward the Rooney family and the entire Steelers organization, acknowledging the trust placed in him to guide one of the most iconic franchises in all of sports. There was a humbleness in his approach, an understanding that coaching the Steelers is not simply a job, it is stewardship, a responsibility that carries the weight of history and the expectations of a devoted fan base. Pittsburgh is not just a city. It is a community of passionate sports lovers who have seen their team endure challenges, celebrate triumphs, and represent the toughness and resilience of the region. What stood out the most was the emotional side of McCarthy's return. It was impossible to miss the genuine connection he felt with the city, the organization, and his own personal history here, seeing family members in the front row, veteran players like Mel Blount, and the sense of continuity from past to present brought a human element to what is often discussed in terms of strategy, personnel, and statistics. This is a team embedded deeply in its city, where every decision resonates far beyond the practice field or the stadium. The pride, the intensity, and the tradition of Pittsburgh football were all present in that moment, reminding everyone that the Steelers are not just another franchise, they are a reflection of the community that loves them fiercely. Of course, not everything about this hiring process was perfect. The way the team selected McCarthy raised questions and sparked criticism, as many felt that due diligence could have been handled differently. 3 in-person interviews do not capture the depth and breadth of evaluation one would hope for when choosing the next head coach of a storied team like the Steelers. While the end result may have been the right choice, the process itself left room for frustration among fans and observers, who expected a more thorough exploration of potential candidates. This tension between outcome and method is important to recognize, as it highlights the passion Steelers fans have for both the team's immediate and long-term future. Yet, despite the criticisms of the hiring process, there is an undeniable optimism surrounding McCarthy himself. Fans may debate the steps that led to his appointment, but there is little dispute about his qualifications, his experience, and his capacity to lead this team. Observers noted that while people could find flaws in the selection method, no credible voice has emerged questioning McCarthy's ability as a coach or his character as a person. The distinction is critical. It is one thing to challenge a process, to critique an approach, and quite another to undermine the person entrusted with guiding the team. Pittsburgh fans are capable of separating these lines, recognizing the difference between procedural concerns and the attributes of a leader who carries the legacy of one of football's most respected organizations. The concept of stewardship became a central theme throughout McCarthy's introduction. He did not present himself as a permanent fixture, but rather as a caretaker, a coach aware of the lineage that precedes him and the tradition he must uphold. From Bill Cowher to Mike Tomlin, this role is about sustaining excellence while adapting to a modern game. McCarthy's emphasis on leadership and the responsibilities that come with it resonated with fans, signaling that he understands the broader context of coaching in Pittsburgh, where every decision, every play, and every moment reflects the values of the city itself. There is a sense that the Steelers are more than the sum of their players or strategies. They are a reflection of the people who support them, and McCarthy's awareness of that connection was evident in his words and demeanor. Even in the realm of football strategy, McCarthy hinted at an approach that balances tradition with innovation. He spoke about not merely keeping up with trends but aiming to be ahead of them, demonstrating a forward-thinking perspective that contrasts with purely reactive approaches. While some comments about mobile quarterbacks and previous experiences with players like Aaron Rodgers raised eyebrows, the emphasis was always on the future and the potential impact he can have. For a city that values results but also understands the importance of integrity and commitment, This approach aligns with the broader philosophy that has sustained the Steelers for decades, as fans began to dissect every detail. From his press conference statements to his interaction with the media and former players, the prevailing sentiment seemed to center on anticipation. McCarthy's arrival is the beginning of a journey, not its conclusion. There is work to be done in assembling coordinators, selecting staff, and determining how the team will operate under his leadership. These are the tangible steps that will ultimately define his tenure. And while the first impression was positive and emotionally resonant, it is the execution of these responsibilities that will truly matter. Pittsburgh is patient but discerning. The city embraces its coaches, but it also expects them to earn their place through action and results. The emotional resonance of McCarthy's return cannot be overstated. His connection to Pittsburgh, to the Steelers' legacy, and to the fans created a moment that transcended a simple hire. It was a reaffirmation that football in this city is more than a sport. It is an identity, a shared history, and a commitment to excellence that spans generations. Whether observing from the stands, the sidelines, or through media coverage, it was clear that McCarthy's presence stirred something deeply meaningful. The reactions, the discussions, and the initial optimism set the stage for a season filled with potential, challenges, and opportunities to prove that the team's leadership is prepared for the tasks ahead. Wow! Opinions vary. One constant is the recognition of McCarthy's readiness to lead. Fans may debate the process, the style, or even certain strategic preferences, but the shared understanding is that this is a coach capable of handling the responsibility. The distinction between criticizing the selection procedure and questioning the coach himself remains crucial, and the fans seem to grasp this nuance. Pittsburgh is passionate, analytical, and deeply invested in its teams, and McCarthy's first interactions have given ample reason for both excitement and cautious optimism. His focus on stewardship, leadership, and alignment with the city's values sets a foundation for what is to come, creating a narrative that blends tradition with the possibilities of a modern NFL approach. This new chapter in Steelers history is not defined solely by headlines or media coverage, but by the tangible outcomes that will unfold on the field. McCarthy's approach, decisions, and philosophy will be measured in victories, player development, and the ability to sustain a culture that has been cultivated over decades. For fans, this is the start of a journey that is personal, emotional, and tied to the very identity of Pittsburgh. The arrival of a coach who understands and embraces this responsibility is a step toward continuity, innovation, and the possibility of reclaiming the prominence that defines the Steelers as one of the NFL's most iconic teams. As we move deeper into this new era for the Steelers, it is clear that the focus now shifts from announcements and press conferences to tangible action. Mike McCarthy's task is not just about fitting into the existing structure, but reshaping and reinforcing it in ways that align with both the team's storied history and the demands of modern football. The challenge is immense, but McCarthy's track record suggests that he has the vision and experience to navigate it. Fans are watching closely, not only because of the legacy that precedes him, but because every decision he makes will ripple through the organization, affecting player performance, coaching dynamics, and ultimately, the Steelers' identity on the field. One of the most critical aspects of McCarthy's leadership is how he approaches his staff. History has shown that successful head coaches understand the importance of building a cohesive team behind them, one that shares their philosophy and vision. For the Steelers, this means identifying coordinators, position coaches, and support staff who can implement strategies efficiently while embracing the culture that has made Pittsburgh football legendary. The city and its fans understand the stakes. This is not just about wins and losses, but about maintaining the values, toughness, and accountability that have defined this franchise for generations. How McCarthy navigates these hires will reveal not only his football acumen, but also his capacity to lead a team that embodies the spirit of the city itself. Equally important is McCarthy's relationship with the players, particularly the quarterback and the core of the offense. Early observations suggest that he is eager to engage, to understand, and to establish trust. The quarterback, often the centerpiece of any team's success, will be central to how McCarthy's vision unfolds on the field. Reports from early interactions indicate that he is keen on developing a collaborative environment while also imposing the discipline necessary to execute at the highest level. His willingness to adapt, to balance innovation with respect for the team's existing strengths, is a quality that fans will be scrutinizing closely. Pittsburgh is a city that rewards hard work and commitment, and McCarthy's approach appears designed to resonate with both players and supporters alike. There is also a strategic element that cannot be ignored. McCarthy has signaled a desire to be ahead of trends, not merely follow them, suggesting a forward-looking approach that blends traditional Pittsburgh grit with modern football tactics. The emphasis on innovation, whether in offensive schemes, play calling, or adapting to the evolving NFL landscape, indicates that he is thinking beyond the immediate season. For a team with as much history as the Steelers, this approach is a delicate balance. Fans want the authenticity and toughness that have defined the franchise, but they also crave relevance in a league that evolves at a rapid pace. McCarthy's challenge is to honor the past, while positioning the team for future success, a task that requires both vision and meticulous execution. The emotional connection that McCarthy has demonstrated is also noteworthy. Pittsburgh fans are deeply invested in the team, and their reactions are often a reflection of both pride and high expectations. McCarthy's genuine appreciation for the city, its culture, and its people serves to reinforce the idea that leadership in Pittsburgh is about more than football knowledge. It is about understanding the heart and soul of the community. His ability to connect with the fans, to embody their passion, and to translate that into a motivating force for the team is a subtle but powerful component of his role. Leadership in this city is as much about emotional intelligence as it is about X and O's, and McCarthy appears to grasp that fully. Of course, there are questions and areas for caution. Fans are aware that no press conference, no heartfelt speech, can substitute for performance on the field. Every decision, from drafting new talent to integrating existing players into his system, will be analyzed and critiqued. Some early commentary suggested concerns about mobile quarterbacks, previous connections with former players, and potential inconsistencies in vision. However, the key takeaway is that all of these are hypothetical until executed. Pittsburgh has a culture of accountability, and McCarthy will be held to the same standard as every coach who has come before him. Fans are patient but discerning, and they understand that trust must be earned, not assumed. The Steelers' identity as a franchise, rooted in consistency, toughness, and a communal spirit, is both a blessing and a challenge for any incoming coach. McCarthy must respect the traditions while introducing fresh ideas that will keep the team competitive. In a modern NFL, the city's pride is palpable. Pittsburghians are acutely aware that their teams are an extension of their community values, and the players, staff, and coaches reflect that ethos. McCarthy's awareness of this unique dynamic is a positive indicator, suggesting that he is not approaching the role with an outsider's perspective, but as someone who understands the weight and responsibility that come with leading one of football's most iconic teams. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill has caught fire, and this time the epicenter is Pittsburgh. Whispers around the league suggest that Odell Beckham Jr. may be on the verge of wearing black and gold, a move that would instantly shake the Steelers' offensive landscape. Nothing has been officially confirmed, but the buzz coming out of the city is impossible to ignore. Sources close to the situation describe a scenario where both sides see this as a perfect marriage of ambition, timing, and unfinished business. Beckham, long known for his flair, confidence, and game-breaking ability, is reportedly intrigued by the idea of reviving his stardom in a franchise built on tradition and toughness. The Steelers, on the other hand, are said to be exploring ways to inject star power and unpredictability into their passing game. The mere possibility of Beckham lining up at Acrisure Stadium has already ignited fan debates, jersey mock-ups, and endless talk radio speculation. Those familiar with Beckham's mindset say he believes Pittsburgh could offer more than just a contract. It could offer a stage, surrounded by a passionate fan base and a locker room hungry for a new identity. The wide receiver is rumored to be eager to put on a show and remind the league why his name once dominated highlight reels every week. The idea isn't just about catches or touchdowns, but about energy, swagger, and shifting momentum in critical moments. Skeptics point to Beckham's recent injury history and question whether the Steelers should take the risk. Supporters counter that even a motivated version of Beckham at less than full peak could command defensive attention and open opportunities for others in Pittsburgh. That kind of impact can change the tone of an entire season. For now, it remains speculation, fueled by leaks, conversations, and optimism, but if this rumor turns into reality, Pittsburgh might be preparing for one of the most talked about additions in recent memory. And if Odell Beckham Jr. truly believes he can light up the city, the NFL spotlight could soon be shining very brightly on the Steel City once again. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.